Just how far would you go to get a free meal while you were dining out? The stories I'm about to tell you prove that some people just have no shame or limit to what they'll do in order to get out of paying when the check arrives at the table. A Florida woman was arrested in 2017 for defrauding a string of restaurants, and what she confessed to the police would shock them. Over a 2-week period, 31-year-old Caitlin Murphy would go to a restaurant, sit down, order a nice meal, and just before she finished eating, she would take out a jar from her purse and sprinkle glass onto her food, a trick she claimed to have learned from someone she met while in rehab. So she would just pour some of this glass onto her food, call over the waiter or manager, tell them, hey, I just found glass in my food, and essentially get a free meal out of it. But oftentimes, Caitlin would take it even a step further and actually chew the food with the broken glass in it. That way, when she was complaining to the waiter or manager, her mouth would be bleeding, blood would be trickling down her face, and she could just really sell her story. What Caitlin didn't realize is that a lot of the staff at these restaurants knew each other, and they would talk about how this woman came in, found glass in her food, and demanded to have her meal comped, in which the other would respond, no way, that happened to us too. They posted on their social media about it, warning other restaurants to beware of this woman who was scamming restaurants. The police even got involved and started posting on their social media too, describing the woman and asking the public if they knew who she was. Finally, the pressure got to Caitlin and she turned herself in. Police would find shards of glass in her purse and charged her with scheme to defraud. In total, Caitlin had scammed 11 restaurants using the glass ruse, costing them hundreds of dollars in free meals, gift cards, and lost tips. She claimed that she did it because she couldn't afford food, but then later admitted that was a lie, and the truth was she did it for the adrenaline rush, which was something she craved ever since she got off drugs and alcohol. Ironically, just before her arrest, Caitlin had been hired by a restaurant to be a server. Paul Gonzalez was a 45-year-old man living in Los Angeles, California. He made a name for himself in 2018 after 11 women came forward with stories about this guy who they met on Tinder, taking them out on a date and then sticking them with the bill. The women claimed that Gonzalez would order drinks, appetizers, even multiple entrees, which the women found odd because who orders 2 entrees? But Gonzalez would just brush it off and say he ate a lot because he was a bodybuilder. Then during dinner, like right before the check came, he would excuse himself to go to the bathroom, or maybe he'd get a sudden phone call, or say his phone was about to die and that he had to go to his car and get the charger, and so he would leave and just never come back. Gonzalez was accused of defrauding his dates out of $950, faced multiple counts of extortion, attempted extortion, and grand theft. He was later sentenced to 120 days in jail and was banned from using dating apps for 3 years. In 2015, a 26-year-old woman and her son were eating at an Applebee's just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Everything was going fine, they were enjoying themselves, just a normal dining experience. But later on, the woman demanded that their meal should be free after she found a cricket in her food. The manager was called over and the situation was explained to him, and then the woman pointed out the cricket on her plate and said she wanted a free meal. But not only did the manager see the cricket on the woman's plate, he spotted an entire bag of crickets in her purse. So he tells the woman that she needs to pay for her food, but she refuses and just takes her son and leaves. The woman was arrested hours later and then released on a $2,500 bond. She faced charges of obtaining property under false pretenses. However, the manager of Applebee's dropped that charge after the woman came back and paid for her food. That's it for today's episode. If you find these scam videos interesting or helpful to you, be sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you can be alerted every time I post a new scam. Remember, hearing about it just may save you from falling for it. So until next time, keep your eyes open for scams.